All right. Welcome, everybody, to Chalice and Chains. My name is Sam, and today we're doing sort of Edge of the Empire, sort of Age of... We're just playing Star Wars. This is going to be a snapshot titled The Zaarin Affair. Basically, what we're looking at here is really just a... it's going to be a short game, kind of seeing where things go with the Empire having been called into Nar Shaddaa on the word of a Toydarian merchant, scoundrel, who knows, who has said, hey, I have some valuable information for you about potentially something that your Grand Admiral is doing with Jabba the Hutt. And so the Imperial Security Bureau, particularly Anders Xantos and his partner and deputy Agent Merrix Cain, have arrived on the Krayt Pearl, which is a casino in the upper levels, a very swanky casino in the upper levels of Nar Shaddaa in the Corellian district. This casino is unique because it is basically fashioned out of the hull of a sort of a luxury yacht that was grounded and now is effectively just a casino. It's been turned into a casino. And so it's neat because it is, but it's ground level. So the scene kind of opens with the music playing. And let me get the music going here. Boom, 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 boom. All right. There is smoke and the cacophony of voices as this casino is somewhat prominent, somewhat well trafficked. And we're sitting around a small table. There are a few players, but ostensibly this looks like a private room where we have... We have good gifts going on in the chat here. We've got a man not dressed in his Imperial uniform as the token suggests, but undercover, but a good-looking man, younger man, but intense eyes, staring at some cards, electronic cards in his hand. They have a game of Sabbac going on. Next to him is sitting another man looking rather intense and also holding some Sabbac cards. This is Merrix Cain. Merrix, describe for me, if you will, how you imagine you're feeling having basically been told, come down to Nar Shaddaa, right? A place that you guys don't really like to be, that's a little bit dangerous, honestly, for the Empire, on the word of some Toydarian that you're not even sure might not be playing you guys.
Well, truthfully, he's probably like looking around and just making sure there's not too many people because it could be a trap. He's just there, to get the information and go. So it's mainly just, keeping alert.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And the nice thing is it's really just a private room where you guys are. This is a high-end casino, so you were able to secure basically a private room. There is a Twi'lek kind of serving girl coming around with the finest liquor that you can find on the outer rim, and there is a droid that's basically acting as the dealer. And the serving girl comes around to you, Merrix, and she says, "What can I get for you?"
What do you have?
She's like, oh, we have the finest on the Outer Rim. Anything you could wish for, anything at all. And she says, Corellian brandy. We could do a Tatooine sunrise.
He'd probably look at her and be like, just give me the strongest thing you got.
Very good, very good. And then she would look over to Anders Xantos, and he would kind of just wave her off. No, I don't drink. Not while I'm playing cards. And then he kind of stares daggers at Bubu. And Anthony, are you there?
Yep, I'm
okay,
here.
Perfect. And so she kind of then looks over to Bubu and smiles a little bit, and she says, "What can I get for you, my friend?"
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. You can give old Bubu. Let's see. We'll do a Corellian whiskey with a little Tatooine sunrise mixed in. Just half and half, baby. That's how Bubu likes it.
Very good, very good. Yes, I'll be back. And Bubu, you would know that you have a special companion, Olga, who came with you. She kind of travels with you everywhere. She's not sitting at the table right now, but she's probably close by, and she's been given instructions that if she is asking to come into the room, that she will be allowed in. The serving girl knows that, also knowing that another Twi'lek is on the scene, and a blue one at that, and she says, "And will your friend be having anything tonight?"
Let's see. You got anything from the little snails, the grubby ones? Like real fat. Yeah, like the ones that are plump, overripe. Olga has a big appetite, you know what I mean?
Oh, yes, of course. We will put it on your tab, yes.
And he's gonna look at Anders Xantos and he's gonna say, I'm with him.
And he looks again to you, and he's like, "Yeah, that's fine. You put it on my tab."
Andrew, wait till you see the Lacoos on Olga. They'll drive you mad.
And he's like, I'm sure it will. Now listen, you ready to play some cards, Bubu?
And he's gonna kind of like smile and look around, and he's gonna say, Bubu never lies. He's always ready to play cards. It's the money we're talking about. Big time.
Excellent. And just for the audience here, I've put up a little bit of the Sabbac rules here. These, and you guys should be able to see these if you haven't. These rules are in the Sons of Fortune book for Edge of the Empire. I also think that they are in Under a Black Sun, which is the free RPG Day adventure that they came out with back in 2013. So we will be using the Sabbac rules that are in the book. And it looks weird when I do that. So, all right, let's do this. Bam. All right, cool. So the way that we do this is the first thing we have to do is establish a wager. And each person will put in this amount. Now, Bubu, you see Ander kind of sizing you up, and he says, "Well, Toydarian, you talk a big game. Let's see what you got." And he puts down a bunch of like Hutt coins in the amount of about 500 credits. So 500 credits for the opening pot. He's making a power play on you. Merrix, you know that you guys are basically, you guys have enough money that you need here to be able to afford this. So you're not quite sure what your partner's doing, but it definitely looks like he's going for, going for a power play here. He seems like to not like this guy, this Bubu Zenga character. So what do you do?
Well, he would look at him, and then he would look back at Bubu, and he'd probably be like, whatever, we got money, it doesn't matter. So he would just push the 500 in.
Nice. And so, Bubu, you see this, right? Anders slides the Hutt kind of platinum or whatever over onto the table, and you see the sort of holographic display on the table, like starting to count the pot, and it puts the, stuff up there, and And then you see it tallied up again as Merrix's money goes in.
So I think Bubu, he's been around the block a little bit, and he sees what's going on. So he's going to try to, like, ruffle their feathers a little bit. So as they put the 500 in, he's gonna kind of, like, act surprised. Hey, you guys see this? He's gonna, like, start pointing around. I guess there's people. Are there other people, patrons in the room at this time?
Not in this room. You guys secured a private room. The only person at this point is the droid dealer, and the droid doesn't even seem to be much more than just literally a casino bot.
Okay, so he's gonna talk to the bot, and he's gonna say, "Big wages here. Hey, Merrix, yeah, you over there." And he's gonna be pointing to Cain. Where'd you guys say you're from again? Not around here, are you?
I'm from around the corner.
Oh yeah. Where is that precisely? In Nar Shaddaa. You're very well dressed, and you have a lot of money I'm not used to seeing.
I'm really from whenever I can get money.
And at this point, Ander kind of looks to you and he's like, "Don't you worry about him, Bubu. You putting in your pot or not?"
Of course. Bubu's got the collateral, baby. And I'm going to put in 500 as well.
Excellent. And so you put in the pot here. And I think at this point, we're going to roll some destiny points here. We're going to roll the destiny pool just to see maybe how the tone of this adventure is going to go. So I think you guys should be able to go ahead and roll that destiny pool for me, if you will.
Black.
Yep.
Rats.
All right.
No!
Now, here's the thing. Merrix, you actually are going to be able to use the dark side points if you want to, because you're technically a bad guy here. No. You know what? That's going to complicate it and make it too weird. I'm not going to do that. I take it back. You guys still use light side points. So I get 2 dark side points to play with. So anyone who might be watching at home that isn't sure on the rules, Edge of the Empire uses a destiny point mechanic in which you roll a force dice that has black and white pips, more black pips than white pips, that represent basically the force, the dark side or the light side. And at the beginning of the game, you roll, and this means that I have 2 dark side points that I get to play with as the GM. When I use those, they flip to light side, and then the PCs get to use them. And they typically are used to either introduce some kind of story element into the game, such as, for the players, having a piece of equipment or something, maybe a contact or something useful that they didn't have on their sheet, but that they might need, or they can use it to upgrade or downgrade their certain checks. So, with the rules out of the way, dark side, baby. All right. So, good. So we've got that. And the next thing that we need to do is determine whether or not you are going to play a straight game of Sabbac or whether you are going to play by cheating. And so you don't tell me, obviously, but if you're going to play straight, then when you roll, you're going to roll a cool check. If you're going to cheat, you either will roll deception, skullduggery if you're trying to do some sort of sleight of hand, or computers if you try to kind of mess with the computer system that portrays your holographic cards and does the Sabbac, right? So what we do at this point, you see Merrix kind of, or Anders kind of sit back and he's looking at his cards and he smiles and he says, "Oh, Bubu, it's going to be fun taking your money." And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just set a standard difficulty here because these aren't important NPCs in terms of this game. This is a somewhat casual game. So I'm going to set, because it's fairly high stakes, I'm going to set a difficulty of 3 purple. And so what we can do at this point is we will all roll a cool check. Or if you are cheating, you will roll one of your other skills. And we'll go from there. Bubu, have you been imbibing enough liquor yet? Or would you say you're pretty straight at this point since your drink hasn't come yet?
He's probably usually always drinking something. So,
Okay.
you know, like throughout the day, he probably has a little flask. So, but he's not like drunk. He's more like, you know,
Yep.
a good buzz.
Okay. So what I'm going to say here, and Anthony, if you'll add this specifically to your dice pool, since we're all going to roll, if I add it to mine, it'll add it to all of ours. Go ahead and add 1 boost dice because you are both familiar with this location and you, this is sort of your home turf, right? And you kind of understand that like you've got the upper hand here. But add a setback dice as well because you are always just a little bit tipsy and
Playing fast and loose.
yeah, and this is Andrew Xantos, the ISB agent. You know, that bravado can only take you so far.
So when Andrew kind of like made his comment about taking my money, Bubu's he's gonna grin and say, "Andrew, baby, I hate to take your pension away from you, but I might tonight. Don't worry, I'll let you play it over a lifetime, and your kids too. I got you covered."
Yeah, okay, Bubu, we'll see.
Or you could put your buddy there in the pot, and I can own him and take him to one of those slave colonies.
Awesome.
You wouldn't know what to do with me if you owned me.
Oh, baby, Bubu's got plans for you. You could ask Olga all about that.
All right, awesome.
He probably would like look back at him and just give him like a big smile.
Okay, so if you want to, Bubu, actually, you know what? We're gonna do this. I'm not quite sure how the player rolls the dice pool. I'm not actually sure how this happens when you have multiple people gambling. I think we do it by turn. So, so Bubu, if you want to roll yours first, we'll go ahead and we'll see. Okay. And I need you also to roll a force dice for me. Just a straight force dice.
Just 1 force die. All right, give me a second.
Yep.
Let me add that to my pool.
Yep. Sorry, and I forgot to mention that before. Okay. So, let's see. So the rules here state that for each dark side symbol, 1 success and 1 advantage are converted into failure and threat. So, that's a bummer. Because what that means is it turned your success into a failure with 1 threat. And so what you're seeing here is you have the cards, right? And you're thinking, oh, baby, I got a Sabbac here. I got this guy. And then the computer shifts and your cards, they shift. And you're looking, oh, this not so good. And I will have you take 1 point of strain, trying to keep that look off your face. You don't want to let them know. Yeah. So I am going to use a dark side point to have Ander go. He's going to get an upgrade on his check. Because why not? He's a jerk. All right. And let's see what Ander gets. Oh, all right. And we need a force dice.
Dark side.
Yeah!
So the same exact roll. Ander also busts out here. Again, trying to keep his face from belying, but you can sort of... You could tell, Bubu, that it's maybe not as good as you hope. And Merrix, if you can, go ahead and roll for me. Cool if you just want to play it straight. But if you want to cheat, let me know and we can figure that out. Holy moly. All right.
Oh.
So the thing is, and I added the force dice in there, you got a light side point. So, which is good. And so what that means then is the light side symbol changes one failure and one threat into a success and an advantage respectively. So you don't have any threats. So you've already got 3 successes. And because you have 2 light side pips, it's going to turn 2 of those into an advantage. But you still have 1 threat, so that'll cancel. So ultimately what will happen is you have 3 successes and you have 1 advantage. So, wow. Dang. All right, so let's see. And then it says, on a success, the PC wins back his wager. For each additional success, he wins another wager's worth of the pot. So, Merrix, you get all 1,500. And
he would probably look at him and he would be like, so what happened? I thought you guys had this.
And how does Bubu respond when Merrix
Bubu
is
like
trolling?
spits up. He spits up, you know, like some phlegm, and he kind of says, "Bubu doesn't like this. And your buddy here, I don't trust him. He's a little shady. I know what's going on here."
Oh, and I just kind of sit back with this scowl on my face, and I'm like, shady. I think he might just be good at cards. What, are you going to do something about it?
I'm going to put another 500 on the pot, baby. Win back. Actually, double it. I have 2,500 credits. I lost 500, so I'm at 2,000. I'm going to put 1,000 credits in.
Wow, you're going to throw 1,000 in. Okay.
Yeah.
Holy smoke. Merrix, we're going to use, by the way, just meta-wise, we're going to use your remaining advantage there. You'll get a boost dice on the next round here.
Okay.
All right, so you see Bubu basically doubling down. He pushes a big old stack, 1,000, basically 1,000 credits, but it's this Hutt currency, right, into the table, and you see the counter, bloop, 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 1,000. And, you know, the sort of droid thing is like 1,000 credits, opening wager. And
yeah, he would look at him and grin, and he would put the 1,500 that he just won towards him.
oh, you're gonna raise basically?
Yep.
Oh snap! All right, so he throws in for 1,500. And Ander kind of looks over to him and he says, you're feeling mighty lucky here. I don't trust this Toydarian. You sure you want to go in for 15?
He would look back at him and he would kind of like wink and he would be like, you never know, we might get some information.
Come to Bubu, baby. Come to Bubu.
All right. And so are you going to throw in, Bubu, the rest of the 500?
Yeah, I'm going to throw in the 500.
All right. And Ander kind of looks up and he says, all right, that's fine. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll go in here, Bubu, if you're feeling confident, but you got to give me something first.
I got Olga out back, baby. Don't you worry about that. She's going to take good care of you.
No, not Olga. And just as he's about to say something, the serving girl comes back in, right? And she gives you your drink and, and she's making a big fuss over Merrix, and, giving you your drink as well. And she's, please, can I get anybody, anything to eat? And she says, oh, and by the way, and she looks to you, Bubu, your friend out there, she was very appreciative of the snails. She was so happy. She wants to come back in and tell you how happy she is. Shall I let her back in or do you, and Ander is like, no, not right now. We're in the middle of a hand here. When we're done here, maybe you can let his friend in. And he looks to you and he says, listen, we got business to attend to here. And she says, I'm very sorry. I don't mean to interrupt. Can I bring anybody anything to eat? And Ander kind of looks up and he's like, yeah, whatever. We'll you got any of those Naboo, the peanut things from Naboo? And she's like, oh, of course, sir. We have everything here. Yes, yes. And she looks to the rest of you, kind of like, would you like some too?
Yeah, Merrix.
Go ahead.
Merrix would just look at her and like wink and give her like 50 like coins, and he, worth 50, and he would be like, here, just have a drink or something, have fun.
She's like, oh, thank you so much. Then she's like fawning all over you and like touches your shoulder and whatever, and very kind of suggestively. And then she looks to Bubu and she says,
Baby, honey, look, you know what Bubu likes, those little Tordarian noodles. There's a noodle shop that I go to all the time. Great noodles. I want the skinny ones, so thin, so smooth and slender. I want the little brown sauce on top. Bubu like. And
she says, oh, yes, we can get that for you. Not a problem. Is there anything else I can get you, gentlemen?
Could I, I don't know if I'd have to use a destiny point here, but he would like to order something. Here's what I would like to. I'd want to know if, like, I could know what Ander might be allergic to and order that for him. Or something that would, like, throw him off or something. Maybe that's not allergic, but like give him like the runs or something.
Yeah, so I think what you could do is if you wanted to spend a destiny point, I think maybe you would... Okay, here's what you can do. You can spend a destiny point and basically say, but I want the noodles from that noodle house. They're the best because they use the best sauce. Here's the, here's the name of the place, right? And then what you would do is you would actually write, I don't care where you get the peanuts from, but put these ingredients. They are his favorite and I want to surprise him. Something like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right.
That makes total sense.
Cool.
Let me use the destiny.
Yep. Sweet. All right. Okay. And
baby, look, here's the noodle shop. Call them, read the instructions verbatim. Everything needs to be according to plan. I like my noodles. What can I say?
She gets this strange look on her face and she's like, okay, sure. Of course. And she kind of looks and she's like, oh, yes, I see. Special instructions, indeed.
It's his birthday. Don't tell anybody.
She's like, oh, okay. And so she kind of leaves, and then Ander, again, just staring you down, and he's like, so, I don't much like coming out to these parts. There's much nicer casinos back in the core. You called me here. You said you had some information. What do you got? Let me put the cards on the table, so to speak.
Let's just say Bubu got a little word from a space slug that one of your high-ups is making a special deal with a notorious Hutt. And behind your boss's back, of course. Behind the glorious Emperor's all his benevolence is back.
And he says,
look, my uncle was killed in the recent terrorist bombings in Tordaria. What can I say? I know a little bit of something. I got a little somebody told me something. They told me this. They told me that. All I know is that my uncle, who was working maintenance at the spaceport, he was doing some radio hookups. He got a feed. I don't know if the rebels killed him or not, but he's dead now. That's all I'm gonna say. But he got a little something information. There was a meeting between the High Cartel and I think it was a Grand Admiral of yours. Do you know what I'm saying?
I got a quick question.
Yeah.
Is there a way for me to tell if it's like bullshit?
Well, that's a great question. I was just gonna ask, what did poor Bubu really have an uncle on Toydaria that got killed? Why don't we do this? Why don't we roll if it's a lie, you could do deception. If it's not, do charm. And Merrix, do you have? Let me just take a look. Actually, I think it would just be against your. Actually, you could roll cool if you want to, Bubu. I think that would be fun too.
I like cool.
Yeah, let me.
Would he roll? He would roll it against my cool, so he can't tell either way, right? Like he would be rolling against me.
No,
right?
What I'm saying is, Bubu, you roll cool. But what opposes cool? That's what I don't know.
What is it?
I'm just gonna check here because.
So the only reason I asked is that I mean, being an Imperial agent, you come across all kinds of stuff like this, especially in this kind of place. So he's like, yeah, I don't believe this stuff.
It's
but,
charm.
It's charm.
Yeah, 113 of Age of Empire.
Okay, yeah. So interesting. All right. So I think actually what we're gonna do then in this case, I'm just gonna set it against a 3 purple because Merrix is no fool. So we're gonna set it against 3 purple difficulty. And I think actually I'm going to. Where's my thing? I'm gonna. Oh, let's take this out of here. I'm gonna upgrade it once. Spend a destiny point. All right. And whenever you're ready, you go ahead and roll.
Okay, rolling cool, right?
Yep.
Okay. Boo-boo!
Wow. All right. So you, Merrix, man, he's playing it close to the vest. You can't quite tell.
He had 9 kids. It's a sad story. As a matter of fact, if you can help me, we still haven't gotten the payment from the Empire for his grievance, the death tax or whatever.
He would look back at him and he would be like, look, buddy, we came for information, so I'll be really nice here. And he would fold, and he'd be like, here's a little for you. So why don't you give us a little bit of information? Not a lot, just a little bit.
And at that point, Ander would kind of look up and he says, interesting. And then he looks to Merrick and he says, well, it's too bad. Don't have a hand this round, I guess. But, and then, and he says, he's kind of staggered by this information, and Bubu, he's looking at you. Now, you have a triumph on that roll. Do you, how do you think you might want to use a triumph on a cool check?
I would imagine that Bubu's coming off like he has some big information. Like maybe I would say bigger than Ander even expected him to have. And maybe he's led on by the direction of story. Maybe he was kind of read into some of the stuff that happened on Tordaria. So I think Ander might be willing to go above and beyond to get this because he thinks it's going to make his career type deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, perfect. All right. And so Ander sits back and he looks at you. And you could tell the wheels are spinning in his head, right? But he's playing. I mean, he's playing it cool. But you know, you've been around people. You can tell when stuff's up. And so he says, "All right." And then you see him push 2,000 credits into the pot, and he says, "All right, Bubu. Sorry about your uncle, but you win here, maybe this will ease some of your pain and suffering." So he's basically raised you another 500 credits.
500.
Yeah.
All right. And I think that's, let me see. I think that's it for me. 500 is what I got left. So yeah, I'll go in the 500. So I'm all in.
All right. So we're looking at 5,500 credits here total.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. Now, I think what I'm going to do here, so Merrix folded. Bubu, I think I'm going to have you roll first. We're going to still set this against 3, but I'm going to give you an upgrade for that triumph because, oops, not on that side. We need it on this side. I'm going to give you an upgrade for that triumph because I think that, like you said, Ander expects that you've got more, and so he's thinking, all right, if you win this pot, maybe, the whole point here is that we're trying to butter you up. So if you win this pot, you'll be more willing to give us, more information.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and he says, so he's kind of staring you down there, and he says, all right, let's do this. All right, so you got go ahead.
Can I use the light side here also?
Yeah, for sure. So you want to get another upgrade?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to win this one. Huh?
I need to win this one.
All right.
Bubu's all in.
Yep. And then I think oh man. I think I'm going to give you a boost dice as well, because with Merrix folding, you're like, "Oh yeah, I got this." Like,
cool.
No problem. So.
And the setback, do I get a setback for the junk thing still, or how do you want to do that?
Yep, we're going to do that. Oh, and Merrix was going to have a boost on his next check, but because he folded, what I'm going to do instead is use that as a you're a little bit unsure, like, why did he fold? He seems like he's a good player. Maybe there's an angle going on here. Maybe they're playing me. So
gotcha.
You're looking right now at 3 purple, 2 setback. Mm-hmm. One boost dice, but you got 2 upgrades.
Perfect. Okay, here we go.
All right. Oh,
yes.
Man. And go ahead, though, and roll that force dice for me as well.
Okay. Damn it! No! Oh, let's see here. But I do have...
still have a success from the triumph, though.
Yeah, because also, here's what I have. Blah, blah, blah. I do have a talent smooth talker. Mm-hmm. Oh wait, no, never mind. That applies to negotiation, so never mind.
Right. Yep. So I think in this case, normally that one success would flip to a failure, which would cancel out your other success. You still have the threat, but your triumph gains you a boost. Gains you a.
Doesn't it say I get a 23 or something?
Well, so let me just take a look. I think it might. I think it says, where is it? Reveal a positive or negative 23 and win the entire Sabbac pot determined by the GM. Yeah. So so I think that's exactly what happens then. Actually, well, you know what? Let me just take a look though, because I'm not quite sure, and these rules are confusing because technically. Well, I think you're going to play against passive opposition in this case. And so because you're playing against passive opposition, I'm just going to say that, yes, you won the roll. So, all right.
Sweet.
Yeah, so you win 5,500 credits and so maybe describe it for me as like right at the last minute you put down the cards and it shows the Sabbac or something.
So as you're sitting there, Ander and him are looking at each Bubu's going to just like kind of and the baby, you're gonna be owing Bubu a lot of money, and I'm gonna put the cards on the table. Say, Bubu never lie. I don't go all in if I don't. You're gonna learn today, Ender.
And
he's gonna kind of start grabbing all the coins and putting them in his
pocket. As he's grabbing the coins, Merrix is just gonna start like clapping, like golf clapping slow.
Oh, nice! You do a slow clap, and Ander looks over to you and gives you just daggers. He just shoots you daggers. He's like, ah, and then he's like, well played, Bubu, well played.
Hold on, let me get my victory cigar. I've been saving it for this moment. He's gonna light it up, nice. And it's gonna be like a cigar that has like the Emperor imprinted on it, and then he lights it at the head so like it burns down.
I have a question. Like, I can lean in and talk to Sanders, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he would like lean in and he would like whisper to him. He's like, do you trust this guy? Is he gonna give us information?
I don't trust this guy at all, but he called us here. He must want something. I mean, yeah, he won some, but he seems like he's greedy. Let's see if we can get more information out of him.
Gotcha. And with him hearing that, he would start waving down the girl that had the drinks and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And she comes back, and you can see, you know, Ander at this point is sitting back in his chair, and he looks just not. He does not look happy, which is funny because Merrix, you're you know, for you, you're sort of like, no, this is exactly what we want to happen. Like, what are you so pissed about, right? So you could tell that like he really does not like this guy. And you're starting to get the impression that they may have had some sort of dealings in the past. But then the woman comes over and she sees that big stack of gold in front of Bubu. And she goes over and she stands next to Bubu, but she's looking at you, Merrix, kind of like giving you just like half of her attention, because you don't have a big stack of coins in front of you. And so she's like, and she's got her tray, right? And she's got the food and she says, here you go, Bubu. And she gives you your noodles. And,
Thank you, Judge.
And then she gives you this wink,
Flicks her coin. Bing.
Yeah. She's like, oh, thank you. You're so generous. And she gives you, Merrix, your drink. And Ander, she's like, yes. And the peanuts from Naboo, the finest on all of Nar Shaddaa. They were imported just yesterday. They are as fresh as could be. I hope they are to your liking. And Ander's like, yes, I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are.
Yeah, with that, like Merrix would like hand her, like he'd be like, "Come here real quick," and he would, I don't know if you want me to do a check or not, but he would pretty much give her like 200 coins and tell her just to keep bringing Bubu like drinks all night, and that he would keep, pumping her up, and then he would grab whatever food she gave Sanders and he just slide it his way. Don't worry, I got it.
All right, nice, yeah. And she says, yes, of course, not a problem. He must be a real VIP, yes?
Yeah, you can say that.
She's like, surprising. Very surprising. Very well. And so she leaves.
Hey, baby, bring in Olga.
Oh, yes, your friend, of course.
Yeah, we need some entertainment. You gotta have her dancing in here.
Nice. And, you can see Anders just like he's got this look on his face like great. And so yeah, Merrix, you were gonna kind of lean over to Anders, is that right?
Yeah, well, he leaned over and he like took the nuts because being in like intelligence and all that, he don't trust like when it comes to food and drinks. Like he's drunk, he set it down, but he didn't even touch it. That thing was just sitting there, and he would lean in and he'd be like, "What's going on? Is everything all right? You seem off."
And as you're kind of like taking this, and I almost imagine like, think of this as like peanuts, but they're trying to make them high end, right? But it's like it's peanuts, so it can't really be high end. So it's on this like an ornate, like ridiculously, gilded gold, like, platter or whatever. And it's got like, little like Hutt delicacies, which I'm sure are disgusting to most people, but like, around here, you don't have to eat them, but that's what they're there for. And it smells really bad, but you can definitely smell this like tang to these things. And as you're kind of, pulling his food away from him, maybe just like naturally you would do that. He like pulls his hand, or puts his hand out and he grabs him back and he looks at you. And he's like, like, I don't like this guy. We've had dealings before. These Toydarians, these Outer Rim scum, you can't trust them. Not for a minute. You best learn that fast, Merrix, because, listen, you come out to the Rim, and someone's always looking to put a blaster in your back, or take your credits, or both, just depending on what they fancy. You just gotta hope that they do they put the blaster in your back first. Less embarrassing that way.
Yeah, he would reply like, "Look, sir, I haven't like gone up for no reason. I know what I'm doing, and I'm here to take care of you. So why don't you give me that food and just, let's do what we gotta do. No offense, but I don't trust anything in this shitty place, especially the drinks."
He's like, you must not have spent a lot of time out in Hutt space. Listen, they don't poison your food at a place like this, I'll tell you. That's not good for repeat business. Lower levels maybe, but we're not in some seedy underworld cantina here. No, this is one of the elite casinos. I mean, the Krayt Pearl, I don't know if you've been here before, Merrix, but man, this place, well, and he kind of just like shows you, and I mean, as you're kind of looking around, like it's the inside of a ship, basically, but it's a luxury yacht, and it's just beautiful. It is ridiculous and ornate, and like, and you've got this like awesome hollow table kind of, you know, and you had your Sabbac cards, and you got all this gold, and as you realize, you're sitting in these like amazingly ornate chairs made out of real wood, and you're not quite sure where they're from, but this kind of wood is very rare, especially out in the Outer Rim. They must have gotten this from some kind of like antique shop in the core, or some rare, wood that's maybe in Hutt space that people don't know about, but like expensive as hell, right? And the drink, like, if you haven't taken it, but you see Bubu, like, you know, his sort of bluish green face is maybe turning a little red, as like, this is high quality liquor, you know, and everything is just top notch. And so he's holding on to his peanuts. He's like, no, I don't, you know.
Well, with that, he would look around and he'd be like, you know what? Maybe you're right. And he would call the girl over again and have her bring him Sanders a drink. He'd be like, fine, we're gonna celebrate, we're gonna have fun, and we're gonna get information from him. But if anything goes south, and if I end up having to shoot somebody, then tell me I didn't tell you so.
So
yeah, go ahead.
Bubu would do two things after seeing, he's not hearing them, he's seeing them. He would lean to the droid, to the, I guess that's running the hollow table, and he'd say, hey, put on that Tatooine pod racing stuff. We want to see it displayed here. I need to see the races. And hoping that the droid would like pull up some like NASCAR pod racing event that's going on Tatooine.
Yeah, sure.
And then he would kind of call over, hey, are you two lovebirds done over there? We're here to have a good time. Sitting there talking, not eating your food or your drinks. What kind of people are you? Where'd you say you're from again? And he's going to point to Merrix again.
He would look back at you. He'd be like, I'm from Tatooine. Are you happy?
Oh, yes. Hey, Ender, you might want to watch out for this guy after I tell you some stuff.
And then he would look back at Sanders, and hopefully the girl brought the drink by then. He would take his drink and like tap him, and
Yep. And Ander would pull a peanut and, kind of crack it, and then he would toss it up, catch it, and then it whoa, and he's like, wow, that's spicy. And then he knocks back his drink a little bit, and he kind of looks to the serving girl, and he's about to like yell at her or something, like, this isn't what I ordered. And then, Merrix, you see just the biggest, ugliest blue Twi'lek female you've probably ever seen start waddling into the room.
Yeah.
And like,
oh baby, here she is.
Yeah, and Ander has this like pinched look on his face, like, ugh. He just does not want to be here at this point. And he knocks back another, draft of his drink, and you could see it was, it was like he doesn't have a lot left at this point. And he's like, ugh. And he's like, Bubu, you ever go anywhere without that woman?
Have you seen the Lacous? I mean, the way they wrap you up inside, they make you feel so warm and good. Olga, take care of you. How about your friend Merrix there? Hey, Merrix, you ever have Lacous that big wrapped around your neck?
I haven't, but after seeing her, I think I'd rather have you. So
today's your lucky day, buddy. Hey, Olga, honey, toots, we need some dancing over here. How about you start with that one?
He's gonna point over to Merrix.
To Merrix, nice, great. And she kind of says, "Okay, Bubu, okay, but there's no music."
Hey, Joy, get some music going. This is we gotta get some good stuff, lively, high class stuff.
Nope, wrong one. Hold on. There we go.
Don't mind her snail stains, Merrick. It's all part of the thing.
Nice. And so Merrick, she's trying to do this dance for you, and like what she's best at is sort of wobbling, right? And she's like flipping her Leku around, and it's rather disturbing.
I think he would raise his hand for a second for her to like stop. And he would take off his jacket because he don't want her getting anything on his other jacket. He would put it down, and then he would like look at Bubu and act like nothing's happening, like nothing's wrong, just like the sharpest look.
And as you take off your jacket, she's like, "Oh, you're one of those kind." And then she tries to like kind of position herself in like she's probably going to give you a lap dance, but she can't quite fit between the table and the chair. So it's this sort of weird like thing, and she's kind of like, you know, trying to get herself in there, and like, what? And at that point, Ander would look over to Bubu and he says, "So you called us here because you heard that some Grand Admiral, some Admiral was doing some dealings with the Hutt. What? So what? I mean, I imagine, you know, Imperials are always talking to Hutts. How do you know that this intel's good?"
Well, like I said, my beloved uncle, before he passed, he was able to intercept this call, and we got some intel from it.
And now Bubu's obviously lying, like in terms of like he doesn't want to reveal his sources, you know.
Right.
So he's gonna look around. He's gonna say, and he like leans over to a droid and he says, "Hey, pump the music up a little bit more, like just to like so know if there's any bugs in the room, you know, that no one could hear him." And he leans in real close to Ander, and he's like, "Admiral Zaarin and Jabba, they met. They kicked the whole Hutt Council out, and they came up with a special deal to ensure that Grand Admiral Zaarin would have influence by going to Tatooine and starting up a special base to build TIE Phantoms, stealth, invisible, top-notch, secret stuff. Now, my sources have it correct. No other Hutts know about this. Only Jabba. And it's supposedly that you and the Emperor himself, and the Empire doesn't know about it either. It's all under the table."
And he sits back, and he looks at you just really skeptically, and he's like, no way. And then he's like, you know, we intercepted all calls, at least for a short period of time, coming out of Toydaria. We could check the intel. You sure that's what happened?
My uncle wasn't killed for any mysterious reasons. Maybe they knew. But good Uncle Pop, he got that out to me just in the nick of time.
He's like, you know, the way I heard it, there was some terrorist activity out there. Maybe your uncle got killed in the crossfire. Maybe he got blown up by some rebel scum that thought they would try to take it. What was it? A governor, I think. Didn't even succeed from what I hear. Lousy rebels. Listen, Boo, I'm not buying it here. You know, you got some credits, but you know, some dead uncle that intercepted some transmission. No.
He's gonna look around and he's gonna lean in and go close and say,
"It's nice pod racing this time of year, they say in Tatooine. How about your buddy Merrix over there? Go visit his old pap and mama on the homestead, if you know what I mean. While he's there, don't take Bubu's word for it. He's got eyes. Maybe the capital ship is in space. Maybe it's not. But Bubu knows. There's Zaarin and his men making a secret base beneath your nose."
And you can tell again that he's just not quite convinced, and he's like, "Listen, Bubu, you're gonna have to give up your source here. I can't act on something like that. Not not because of some mysterious uncle who might have died, who might have got some transmission. Not with those kind of accusations.
So would Bubu have like orders from Cordella and them? Like, do they not want to be known at all, or would they not care? Like, if push came to shove, would they be okay with the Empire owing them kind of a favor if they knew this was coming from Durga?
So you get the impression that Durga is very concerned about the potential impact that this could have on Jabba's power in relation to Durga's power, right? So Durga and the rest of the Hutts might lose out, and Jabba might gain just on his own, and that is not something that Durga is happy about. So Cordella didn't quite mention that, whether or not, but if you know the Imperials, you know that they understand how the game is played here in Hutt space, but Andrew Xantos doesn't like you, so who knows?
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's gonna lean in real close, and this time his like breath was reeking of the alcohol. He didn't say, "Andrew, I knew I always liked you. Olga told me that you were one of her favorites, but between you and me, it wasn't my uncle who has this information. No, it was someone more powerful who was in the room. They had to leave. It comes from within Durga's organization, Durga the Hutt. And it is supposedly that when he was kicked out, Jabba struck the deal with him to ensure that he had a Grand Admiral in his pocket. What better way to grow his influence in Hutt space and around the galaxy than with Zaarin? Don't take my word for it."
And he pauses, and he looks over to Merrix, and he pops another peanut. He says, "Hold on, Bubu, hold on." And he looks over to Merrix, and he says, "Did you catch any of that?" And I don't know if Merrix would have been distracted. Olga's still trying to do her dance, you know.
No, he wasn't paying attention to her. Like,
Okay.
the whole time he was looking at Bubu, and he would just look at her and he'd be like, "Well, I think we should get out. I mean, the worst that could happen is nothing's going on, and if nothing's going on, I can always come back and kill him. So it's up to you."
Yeah. And
Bubu doesn't lie. Andrew, we know each other how long? I never lie to you.
And it's like, he looks to you and he's like, "Bubu, literally everything that comes out of your mouth is a lie. What are you talking about?" But he's like, "But listen."
It's all about our perspective.
He's like, and you realize that he's eaten quite a few of these peanuts at this point, and his drink is run dry, and he's looking for the serving girl, right? And he's like, where is that? Where's the waitress? God. And he kind of says to this, like, and the droid, so the droid isn't exactly like a protocol droid or anything. It's basically like the head of a droid built into the table. So it's very sort of primitive, and it could do limited things, right? And so he looks at the droid and he's like, "Listen, I need another drink. Go get your serving girl in here now." And you can see he's starting to like squint his eyes a little bit, and he's like, "I need something stronger." And Merrix, you would definitely notice this at this point. He's acting weird, but he seems to try to shake it off for a minute, and he's like, "All right, Bubu. Well, I think we can make a trip to Tatooine just fine, but you tell your sources if this pans out, well, we're going to probably need a little bit more information about what they found out. And we may need some local help here in Hutt space. You understand?"
I heard Cordella's got a crew.
Interesting.
We'll oblige. Bubu doesn't not help friends.
And
Yeah.
oh, go ahead.
I think with that, like Barrack, especially, seeing Anders, like a little bit out of it, he would take out the rest of his coins out of his coat, lay them in the table, and he would be like, "Thanks for your help, and do me a favor, don't leave the planet in case I need to get in contact with you."
And at this point, Olga starts kind of waddling her way over to Ander, and I think you see a couple of things happen. Merrix, you're starting to your Imperial training. Something is wrong. Something isn't quite right here. I mean, you've been on edge a little bit since you got here, obviously, especially because you're sort of undercover. But something feels wrong that didn't quite feel wrong before, and it's not just because of Anders. I mean, you sort of suspected that the food might have been weird, whether it was, poisoned or just, some kind of weird hut, spices that'll make him feel strange, but it's more than that. And you can't quite tell yet what's going on, but you're highly on edge at this point.
I think he would like slowly put his jacket on, and he would help Sanders like leave. But he would keep his hand on his like blaster in case somebody tries something funny, and then he would look at her and he'd be like, "You can stop now. If you wanna dance for somebody," he would point at Bubu and be like, "You can take care of him."
And Olga laughs. Bubu, no, I don't dance for Bubu. Look at him, he's tiny. And then she kind of like, sort of is like Ander kind of swivels his chair out like he's going to get up to leave. And she takes that as an opportunity to basically sit down in his lap. And she kind of like leans back and her leku kind of go over his shoulders. And like, he's just like, but she's quite heavy as well. Awesome. Right. And so sitting on him, it's like, and just doing her thing. And he's like, get up. And Merrix, just as you're about to maybe do something or intervene, you see something, you see movement outside of the door to this room. Because the way this thing was set up, all of the walls were basically replaced with this like sort of transparent steel that sort of it can go like foggy. So it basically, it would be like a see-through glass wall, but you could have a setting for like a privacy setting. And so before, when it was open to the lobby and whatever, right? Now, all of a sudden, the walls have gone all foggy and you can't see outside anymore. And you see this movement, right? And the door goes, vroom, and at first you see the Twi'lek serving girl come back in, right? And she's got this smile on her face, but it's this forced smile. Like you've seen these looks before. This is not good.
Okay, so what are the chances that I can get that thing off of him and try to take over going to the kitchen?
So as you start to do that, you're basically going to just yank her right off of him. Right behind the serving girl. She basically gets shoved into the room at this point. She falls down, and you see two basically large, like Trandoshan thugs of some kind coming in, right? And they basically are like, and one of them you see has this big like axe, and he's about to come in, and the other one looks like he's starting to pull a spherical object off of his belt. And you see, it looks like they're going to do something, and they look like they're about to mess some stuff up. So
what are the chances that I can grab the big girl and use her as a shield and like aim at them and take a shot?
So like, I imagine you could almost do it where like, because Anders is sitting back in his chair and Olga's on his lap, you could almost maybe like lunge forward and like push them so that they'll fall down backwards, and you would land on top of them, right? And as that's happening, maybe you can fire if you want.
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay, so I think what we're gonna do then, gonna treat this in a way like almost like a surprise round. So what I'm gonna do is you can do that. You're gonna have to use one of your maneuvers to move, right? To physically do that. You could potentially do a maneuver to aim if you wanted to, which could give you a boost dice. I'm going to impose 2 setback though, because of the fact that like you're having to do this thing, you don't know if they're gonna fall. Ander could very well hit his head, you know, and that puts them in a position where it's gonna be harder for them to get up. But I'll also give you 1 additional boost dice because this is completely unexpected. And I'm going to use a dark side point to upgrade your check. So if you're going to fire, this is going to be against, they're at medium range. So it's normally a 2 purple difficulty. Right now you got 1 purple, 1 red, 2 setback dice, and 2 boost dice.
So, yeah, I would aim and I would use a point if available.
You can't, unfortunately, at this point, because I had both of them and I just used 1, so you can't use a destiny point that has just flipped to your side.
Gotcha.
On this turn.
So I'm just attacking, right?
Yep, so you can just make your weapon attack if you want to. And so there's a guy with an axe and the guy grabbing something at his belt. Which one are you going to shoot at?
Axe.
Okay. Wah, wah, wah. Okay, so let's see. Ouch. Okay. Oh, wow, yeah. So the failures were from... Okay, there's that. Did we have... Why do you have 4 setback dice on there? Do you have setback in your pool?
Yeah, I got 2 black and 1 purple.
Oh, okay. Why don't you clear those? And then just clear your dice pool right in the middle, because I set everything on my dice pool. So you clear everything on your end, and then you can just re-roll the check. Yeah.
Oh.
So it's a failure regardless, but you got some advantage. So that's pretty good. All right, let me think about this here for just a minute. Okay. So as you go lunging forward, I think Merrix isn't completely out of it, and Olga starts to scream, and he kind of spins out of the way like, what are you doing? Like he literally spins his chair, and it like bonks your knee into it, and so you kind of go like tumbling a little bit, and your shot goes wild. But you do have 3 advantage. Did you have any ideas for how you might want to use those?
Maybe since I was holding her and when she fell down on the guy who had the axe.
So she didn't exactly fall down because he kind of spun out of the way. But what I could say, if you wanted to, is that you kind of like, they kind of careen you out of the way. And so you kind of go off to the side and his chair kind of goes rolling back a little bit. So at this point, the guy with the axe, if he was running at the table, it's just Bubu sitting there now. And what we can say mechanically is that maybe you can get whoever, either if Bubu or you or Ander acts next, you can get a couple of boosts, or if it's the NPCs, they would get a couple of setback dice. Does that work for you?
Yeah, I think I'll just give whoever goes next a boost.
Okay, fantastic. All right, and so I think at this point, Bubu, you see this going down, and I think that those guys are surprised as well. I think what we're gonna do at this point is everybody's gonna roll some vigilance for me. We're gonna roll initiative to see who acts in what order. And do I have these guys in here? Let me take a look.
Initiative. You said vigilance for initiative. Okay.
Yep, vigilance.
I was trying to find a picture of Olga. I can't find that one I had before.
Yeah, I got her on your overlay.
Oh, you do? Oh, okay,
yeah.
good.
I mean, it's little,
awesome.
But I got her on there. Yeah,
I remember. Yeah, okay.
She's also the thumbnail of the very first episode of The Dark Road, which I have a playlist on my channel. So if anybody wants to see that, check that out. Okay. I'm going to use... Where's my thing? Why don't I have it on here? Oh, here we go. Okay. I was like, where are my things? Didn't have my character sheet open here. Bonk. Okay. So I need to roll some vigilance. Okay. Blam. Did that roll? Yes, it did. Okay. Oh, you still had your boost dice in there. Nice. And Ander, you get to roll too, because why not? Combat. Vigilance. You're pretty good at vigilance. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, looks like... Oh, I wonder, does the initiative tracker in here count? Oh, yeah, it does. Oh, no, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Never mind. Roll20's initiative tracker apparently does not work here. So that's okay. I'm not too worried about it. I can always manually set it, but I won't. So Ander gets to go... Well, a PC gets to go first. I think I'm gonna treat all of us as PCs for right now. 2, 3. Actually, so we all get to go first before the guards go. So I think the story would make sense that Bubu, you can act next.
So do I know anything about these guys?
No, you have no idea. These guys are just busting in. I mean, you could potentially try to make some kind of like knowledge underworld maybe, or even possibly knowledge outer rim.
Yeah, underworld. Could I do that?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think what I'm going to do is I'll give you a boost dice because you're from Nar Shaddaa. You kind of understand this area a little bit better.
Yeah.
But yeah, you would. And I think in this case, it's going to be... it's going to be a difficulty 3. This is pretty out of the ordinary, and these guys look pretty nondescript.
Okay.
I think I'm also going to impose a setback because just with the chaos and violence is about to go down, and so it's a little distracting.
Okay. Yeah, am I good to roll?
Yep, you're good. Okay. So... if you're thinking about it, there really is only... This is a high-end casino. They would have good security, right?
Yeah.
So it's unlikely that you would be the target of an attack in here. Unless somehow somebody knew what you might be discussing. Somebody who maybe... wouldn't want that information getting out to ISB agents. So you're thinking that these are probably either hired by the Empire potentially, or by not by the Empire, but Admiral Zaarin himself, or even potentially someone within Jabba's organization. That's what would make the most sense to you.
Okay. If he knows that, he's gonna he's not gonna fight or anything. He's just gonna kind of throw his hands up. Do they seem like they're here to hurt Bubu or no?
They seem like they're just... Okay. I mean, at this point, it's too early to tell. They just busted in and look like they're gonna kill some folks. Okay. The guy, I'll say your 2 advantage. You realize that the other guy is there. He's pulling for a grenade.
Oh. Okay. He says, "Whoa, buddy! Whoa! Don't be too hasty on the grenade. There's a new safety security feature in this room. No weapons allowed. We can take them outside. Outside."
And so you're kind of like, no. And Ander, at this point, kind of just sees that. And I'm going to say, I'll give that a boost to Ander because I think... that would, that's kind of a good distraction. They pause for a minute. They're looking at you like, what? Ander kind of spins around, and with Olga half on him, he kind of actually grabs like around her her body with one hand, using her almost as like a shield, and he puts his gun up over her shoulder, and he's gonna fire at the grenade dude here. Let me just see. Where's my sheet? Got all these windows open here. All right, Ander. What we got? Let's see. Give you a boost. You got to shoot over her shoulder, so that's going to get you a setback. Oh, man. He's got a nasty-ass weapon. And you see Ander Xantos pull out this just nasty-looking pistol. Bubu, you've been around. You've seen illegal weapons. This is a disruptor pistol.
Oh, nice.
But unfortunately, oh, wait a minute. Nope. I messed it up again because I got the dice pool set twice. So I got to change this here. I got to re-roll that because, all right, let's try this again. It's not 4 setback. It's only, or it's not 4. It's only 2. Ah, that's better. Nice. 1, 2, 3, 4 successes. Holy moly. Unfortunately, I don't crit, but that's okay.
Guy's probably dead.
Yeah, I think he is. Let me just take a look. What are his stats here? Well, not quite, but he's almost. He basically goes down. And he falls to the ground, unable to pull his grenade out at the moment. But then Ander kind of gets up. He's like, Merrix, get under cover. And you see Ander's trying to stand, right? And Olga's screaming, ah, and kind of trying to grab onto him. And she's like, Bubu, this is the last time I help you.
Don't worry, Boo's got you, baby.
And now they are going to attack. So, Merrix, you tried to shoot at one of them, right? And was unsuccessful. The guy with the axe, he is deciding that he's going to try to come for you, try to make an attack on you here. And he's going to run in. I'm going to, though, because his companion went down, I'm going to impose 1 setback, and then I'm going to impose another setback because he, with the chaos and with the fact that, like, a disruptor pistol came out, like, that's no joke. So he's like, whoa. But he's going to try to come at you. I don't think I thought
wasn't I supposed to go before him? Or?
You did, right? Didn't you go first? Oh, no, you're right. I didn't. You're right. I'm sorry. You go first. I forgot because I gave you your surprise round and not your regular round. My bad. Yes, you go.
So this guy, you say he's trying to charge him, right?
Yeah, he is. Well, not yet. He looks like, his guy just went down. He looked back, ooh, and then...
Yeah, he would. I would do like a double aim maneuver and
Okay.
pretty much put my hands on the table and aim at him and take a shot.
All right. Do it. And so, actually, let me set the dice pool here. You're at medium range still at this point. I think you had a couple of advantage. I'll give you a couple of boost here because I think that makes sense. I am going to use my dark side point, though, so I'm going to upgrade the difficulty. But, yeah, whenever you're ready.
Can I use one of the light side points too? Or...
Yep, you can because you had one. So I'll add that upgrade. There we go. All right, and go for it. Wow. That's crazy. So you fail with 3 advantages and a triumph. Interesting. Okay. So you
That's weird,
yeah, so you fire at him, right? And he realizes you're pulling your gun. Oh, actually yep, you're pulling your gun. You got your 2 boost for your double aim maneuver. And actually, I'll tell you what. Just go to your dice pool and just add 2 boost dice. I meant to give you 2. Just roll 2 boost dice for me. So literally, you just go up, click the 2 on the blue ones, and then click your little dice up at the top under dice pool. Because I forgot to add those in.
So what do I hit to roll that, or do I reroll?
Yeah, you should just under dice pool. You should have like right in the center. It'll be like a little D20. Oh man, no successes. Oh Jesus. All right, so you still fail. You have 6 advantage and a triumph. So you're not able to hit them, but man, you got a lot of good stuff going for you. Do you have any ideas as to how you might want to use those?
Is there any way that, like, when I shot him, he reflected it with his axe and it got, like, stuck in the wall or something? Or the floor?
Well, we could certainly say that you disarmed him. That his axe kind of falls right out of his hand as he maybe like leaps back a little bit. And I would say that, you know, that could be like your 6th advantage. Do you have like something that you want to use? You know, I mean, that's a lot. Like that's a big thing, but at the same time, he's like completely incapacitated. But you still got good stuff you can do here. Like go big with it.
Shit. Maybe he dropped it on the other guy.
Maybe, yeah. Here's what I think. Maybe I don't think he dropped it. Did you say dropped it on Olga?
No, he dropped it on the other guy.
On the other guy? Oh, okay. So maybe then what happens is he starts staggering back and he trips over his fallen companion who went down, right? He falls over and they're all like kind of tangled up here. And you see that like the grenade that was on the guy's belt goes boom, 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 and kind of rolls out into the middle of the floor. And for a minute, everything sort of pauses and goes silent. And then nothing happens. And they're like, you know, they're like, get off of me, blah, 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 right? And so you see like they're spending basically their time trying to get up, right? And the one guy picks up his axe and the other guy is looking around for his grenade. And then they look at you, and you got Ander pointing his gun. Merrix is pointing his gun, right? Olga's screaming, and Bubu is kind of like, no, put your weapons away. And so they kind of look at each other, and they're like, nah. And they start to back out. They're gonna try to back up, and they're like, nope, we're sorry, wrong room.
Bubu got a deal for you.
And I'm going to pull out my credits that I won at the table and say, you come work for Bubu. You might walk out of here alive.
And these are big, like these are Trandoshan, like nasty dudes, right? And they look to you and they're like, we can't work, not for you, but if you'll let us out alive, we won't hurt you again. We'll remember you.
Bubu looks at the, Merrix and Ander and says,
this is your call. Bubu doesn't need no enemies here in Nashada. I gotta live here. I gotta cook, clean, and eat.
And I think Merrix would know that, like, these guys came in, they drew down, even though you're not supposed to be ISB agents, you're ISB agents, and with the intelligence that Bubu gave you, these are potential, sources of their suspects or whatever. But you see, Anders tries to get up, right? And then he's like, oh man, something. And then he's sort of like, ugh, and he's kind of just like sitting there in his chair, like, those peanuts. Oh, yeah, I don't even know. And he's like, I'll be fine, Merrix. You just apprehend them. We need to interrogate them. We need to find out what they know. And they're like, no, we don't know anything. We don't, And what will you do?
Well, I might as well shoot to stun him. I mean, shit. Whoever's closest to the weapons for the game.
Oh yeah, you're gonna shoot to stun?
Yeah.
That's fine. I mean, I'll say you can stun them, and as that happens, you kind of see like Ander is kind of like, get off. You know, he's trying to push Olga off, and she's like still freaked out, and she's yelling at Bubu like, "How can you put me in this position? You said this was supposed to be safe, blah 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 blah." Right? And I don't know if Bubu would be kind of yelling back at her or whatever, like, "Know your place," you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. He'd be like, you're supposed to be outside watching the door. You weren't. And if Anna would have not been bothered by your big lacoos, he might have seen him coming in.
It's like, you told me that's what he wanted. That's what I came here for. Blah, blah. Right. So they're yelling, and you know, you're kind of doing your thing. And then, do you kind of like, you stun them, Merrix, and would you kind of try to take them somewhere? Would you try to like bring them into another room or something to interrogate them? What would you do?
Yeah, he would try to drag them to like the kitchen area, but he would look at Olga and he would be like, 1, get off of him. And he would look at both of them and be like, 2, shut up. And then he would be like, 3, get somebody who can, you know, like take care of him. We need a medic or something. Somebody who's like on the low, because we're not even supposed to be here.
And Olga gets up, kind of finally gets up off of him, right? And she's like, "Oh, don't worry. I can take care of him. I'll make sure he's okay." And she's like, "You take care of those. They look bad man." And then I think at this point, you know, sort of the casino security shows up and they look to you, Merrix, and they're like, "Is everything all right here?" And these are like, you know, kind of Nikto guards. These, I mean, you know, it's sort of typical Hutt security. A couple of droids as well, and they're like, "Everything all right here? What's going on? We are so sorry that these guys got past us. I don't know how this happened." You know, and they're definitely talking like,
I want to be in a comped room, suite. I almost died. Boo Boo almost was obliterated. I need some compensation.
Yeah, can I like deceive them and like act like I'm really fucking pissed and like somebody's gonna get the end of this type of deal thing? Because, you know, we were supposed to be protected and these people just said it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you could basically do that, and they're like, "Yeah, of course. We'll make sure we'll get the manager. We'll make sure you guys are taken care of. You have everything you want." And one of them, you know, these guys seem like they're security and they're badass, but at the same time, this is a high-end place, so they also know how to like talk, and they know how to sort of they know customer service, right? And so they're like, of course, please sit down. And kind of points over to Andrew. It's like, "Oh, he doesn't look well at all. Listen, we'll make sure we'll get, you know, medical facilities for him. Do you need us to deal with these guys, or do you have this under control?"
He would be like, "I got this, but can you get like some stretchers we can put him in after I'm done with him?"
And they look to you and they say, "Sure, but if you would like a little more private room to talk to them, we could arrange that." They seem like they're like, "Nope, you guys come in here and mess shit up in this casino and make us look bad. We're gonna let this dude do what he wants to you."
He would look back at them. He'd be like, "Sure, can you help me get him there? And after I'm done with him, you can do whatever the hell you want with him."
Absolutely. And so they're like, "Yes, please come with us. We'll show you." Right. And we'll make sure that your friend is taken care of. If he needs any medical assistance, we've got it taken care of.
He would be like, "All right." And he would look at Bubu and he'd be like, "Don't let anything happen to him, because I know if something happens to him, I know who to go for."
Boo Boo takes care of his friends, trust me.
And so Merrix, as you leave the room with the security just again being like, "We're so sorry, we can't believe this happened," you know, blah blah blah. And it's funny because this kind of stuff happens in Hutt space all the time, just not here. And so they pride themselves on that. And so, you know, you're leaving, and this will be the end scene. And I think Ander is kind of like barely conscious, like he's sort of like, he can't hardly speak, right? And I sort of imagine the last thing he sees is, you know, this like floating guy, you know, Toydarian right there, and Olga looking at him. And Bubu, what would you say or do right at the end of this scene here?
he'd be like he's seeing Ander come awake, right?
Well, no, I mean not even. Ander's about to pass out, but he's just barely conscious, and he's just in his chair, and I think you guys would come over to kind of look at him to be like, "What's up?" And he's not in any position to really do anything.
This is your chance, Olga. He's all yours. They're gonna float away.
Oh no! And she's
don't say Bubu never takes care of you.
She's like, okay, Bubu, thank you. And with that, the camera pans out. You see, I think, Olga starting to like open up Anders' like vest and his shirt a little bit and kind of, pulling it aside. And then it kind of, fades up and over the city as outside of the casino and over the city up into the atmosphere. And it cuts to the bridge of the bridge of a like a Hutt capital ship. And there is this large Hutt kind of sitting on this like little repulsor sled thing, and a sort of like a Rhodian, this little like Rhodian kind of comes up and he's like, Your Eminence, you are getting an urgent call. Please, you must take it. And he says, which translates to, put it up on the vid screen. And up pops this image of this Twi'lek woman, and she says, Mighty Durga, you asked me to inform you if the meeting went down. It seems that it did. Something happened and somebody broke in, but it seems as though the two men and the Toydarian, they're fine. I think everything went according to plan. And he says, and then in basic he says, Good. You have done well. We will make sure that you are well taken care of. And then you see he clicks the screen off and his sled turns around and there's this sort of this like orange Twi'lek woman sitting there, business suit, whatever. This is Cordella. And he looks to her and he says, Your man did well, Cordella. Now we will see just how mighty Jabba really is. And then star wipe, pew, and we're done.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Yeah, so this was, the intention here was, one, to play with the Sabbac rules, because I didn't know how to do them, and so I thought, why not? We'll see. And also to set up a potential future story arc where the ISB will potentially go out to Tatooine to see what's up. Also, anybody who watches this, I highly recommend that you take a look at The Dead Road. It was 4 episodes that I ran, a mini campaign featuring none other than Bubu Zenga. And Anthony played a brilliant character among a quite eclectic cast of thugs and bounty hunters and ne'er-do-wells. And so it was great fun. Check that out. I'll link that in the description below. You'll also... you should be able to see it on a I think I linked it up in a card up above, one of the little thing up there you click on. And then I believe next Sunday, we have I think will be the final episode of the Nar Shaddaa arc of our Sunday Sandbox campaign, where we will see just what happens in the meeting in the slag pit with Hemi and Sasha, and whatever fate befalls the rest of our companions. So tune in for that, 8 p.m. Eastern on the 6th of May. Whoa, it's going to be May. Holy moly. And of course, if you guys like any of this, make sure you've subscribed. If you haven't, go ahead and leave a like, leave some comments. If you know that we completely screwed up the Sabbac rules or you have other ideas for how that should work, let me know. Otherwise, signing off.